Letting the burglar escape before Uncle Ben dies, there's a 30-second decision that ruins Peter Parker's life and creates Spider-Man's moral code forever. This happens before the costume. Peter Parker got his powers and immediately cashes in. He wins a wrestling match, pockets the money, and feels untouchable. For the first time, power equals reward. Then a burglar comes sprinting past the venue. Security yells for help. Peter literally blocks the guy's path. He could stop him in half a second, and Peter says, I don't want to get involved. Not fear, not weakness, just selfishness. He lets the man go because it's easier. That same burglar breaks into Peter's home later that night. Uncle Ben confronts him. A gun goes off. Ben dies. One ignored responsibility becomes one dead uncle and one dead criminal. As Ben dies, he leaves Peter with the line that will haunt him forever. With great power must come great responsibility. And Peter realizes something unbearable. This is his fault. Spider-Man's moral code isn't born from heroism, it's born from guilt. And every time Peter breaks that code later, he's reliving the moment he chose convenience over responsibility and paid for it with everything. Killing All-Star Smythe. There's a moment where Spider-Man takes a human villain's weapon and executes him to save New York. This happens in Amazing Spider-Man number 378. Alistair Smythe has been working in secret, building a massive army of spider slayers. Hundreds of killer robots. One button sends them rampaging through Manhattan. Millions dead, no undo button. Spider-Man crashes into Smythe's base and does what he always does. Webs up robots, smashes machines, buys time, but it's not enough. Smythe stands at the control panel, finger hovering over activation. And suddenly, Peter isn't fighting a villain, he's staring at a countdown clock. Smythe taunts him. One button, Parker, save your soul or save the city. Peter realizes the truth. He can't reach the console in time. He can't web Smythe fast enough. So he does something Spider-Man doesn't do. He grabs Smythe's wrist-mounted laser, an anti-Spider-Man weapon, and fires it point blank. Smythe dies, the robots shut down, the city lives. Peter just stands there, staring, shaking. I killed him, he realizes. Not an accident, not self-defense, a decision. This isn't what Uncle Ben meant. Heroes don't execute people. Here's the part nobody likes to remember. It happens again. When Smythe returns as a clone later, Peter hesitates and still pulls the trigger, letting the Green Goblin die. Okay, this is the moment Spider-Man breaks his code without throwing a punch. He lets the Green Goblin die and later does the same thing to his son. In Spider-Man, Peter Parker finally unmasks the Green Goblin, and it's Norman Osborn. Norman switches instantly. He drops the villain act. He begs. He plays the father figure. He tells Peter he's like a son to him, and for a second, Peter hesitates. This isn't a monster anymore. It's a broken man asking for mercy. Behind Peter, the Goblin's glider activates. Blades out, locked on. Peter hears it. He knows what's coming. He turns and yells, Norman, behind you. Norman smiles and steps into the path anyway. The glider impales him straight through the chest. Peter doesn't move to stop it. He doesn't web it away. He lets it happen. Norman dies, asking Peter not to tell Harry the truth. This moment changes Spider-Man forever. Peter tells himself he didn't cross the line. He just let fate happen. But he learns a terrifying truth. Choosing not to save someone feels exactly the same as causing their death. Superior Spider-Man, when Peter Parker is erased alive. This time Spider-Man breaks his moral codes, but he's not Spider-Man, so it's kind of tricky. This begins in Amazing Spider-Man number 698 through 700. Dr. Octopus is dying. His body is failing, so he makes a final move, a mind swap. Otto Octavius wakes up in Spider-Man's healthy body. Peter wakes up in Otto's decaying one, and Otto doesn't hesitate. He starts erasing Peter's consciousness piece by piece, convinced that Spider-Man needs improvement, not morality. Otto becomes the superior Spider-Man. Crime drops fast because Otto kills. He builds Spider-Bots to spy on the entire city. He rules through fear, efficiency, and control. Meanwhile, Peter is trapped inside Otto's dying body, reliving Otto's abusive memories, clinging to existence as his own mind fades. He watches helplessly as Otto dates Peter's friends, fights Peter's villains, and rewrites with great power into authoritarian logic. This isn't just body theft, it's identity murder. Peter starts to wonder if Otto's methods work. Does that make Peter weak? When the Green Goblin becomes unstoppable, Otto finally breaks. He erases himself and gives the body back, admitting Peter is the better Spider-Man. Peter returns, but never clean. He carries Otto's memories forever. Superior Spider-Man proves something terrifying. Heroism isn't about being efficient, it's about choosing compassion, even when cruelty works better. One more day when Spider-Man makes a deal with the devil. This might be Spider-Man's darkest choice ever. Peter Parker trades his marriage, his identity, and his entire future for one more day of Aunt May's life. After the Civil War unmasking, everything is already falling apart. The Kingpin orders a hit meant for Peter, and Aunt May takes the bullet. She's dying, and doctors can't save her. Peter is exhausted, broken. He's been Spider-Man for years, and for once, power means nothing. That's when Mephisto appears with an offer. Aunt May lives, but Peter must give up his marriage to Mary Jane. No one will ever remember they were married, ever. Peter hesitates and agrees. Reality rewrites instantly. Peter and MJ were never married. The world forgets his public unmasking. Tony Stark denies ever knowing who Spider-Man is. A lifetime vanishes in seconds. Mary Jane feels something is missing but can't explain it. Peter remembers everything alone. This is the horror. Peter doesn't just lose his wife, he erases the idea of that life from existence. He saves one person by deleting his own happiness, legacy, and future. Here's the cruel part. Fragments remain. MJ has dreamlike memories of a life that never happened. Across the multiverse, their daughter Mayday is erased before she can ever exist. One more day proves something devastating. Spider-Man will sacrifice anything to save someone he loves, even if that means breaking reality itself. And he'll live with that moral debt forever, alone in a world that never knew what it lost. The Clone Saga, when Spider-Man stops believing he's real. Imagine discovering you might be a clone and the real Spider-Man wants his life back. This nightmare begins in Amazing Spider-Man number 394. Ben Reilly returns, a perfect clone of Spider-Man created years earlier by the Jackal. Same face, same memories, same powers. Then the bomb drops. Genetic tests, secretly manipulated by villains like Mendel Strom and the Jackal, declare Ben the original Peter Parker and Peter the clone. Peter's wife is pregnant, his career is unstable, and now science itself is telling him he isn't real. Peter breaks. He publicly steps down, hands over the costume, and announces Ben Reilly as the true Spider-Man. Ben swings through New York in Peter's colors while Peter tries to live a normal life, depressed, lost, watching someone else save the city he swore to protect. At his lowest point, Peter almost lets Kane kill Ben just to reclaim his identity. Responsibility starts feeling optional when you don't even know who you are. The damage stacks up fast. Ben dies. MJ loses the baby due to the stress. Years pass before the truth comes out. Peter was always the real one, but by then something's gone. Here's the cruel part. Ben dies as Spider-Man, sacrificing himself so Peter can be Spider-Man again. The Clone Saga proves something brutal. Spider-Man doesn't lose his powers here, he loses faith in himself. He chooses not to help people just because he wasn't real. But what a real hero should do is continue helping others in some way or the other, instead of just moving out of it. Kraven's Last Hunt, when Spider-Man crawls out of his own grave. In Kraven's Last Hunt, Kraven the Hunter decides it's time to prove he's better than Spider-Man. He ambushes Peter in rain-soaked cemetery, pumps him full of knockout drugs, and beats him into the mud. Then Kraven does something unthinkable. He dresses Peter in torn, bloody rags and buries him in a shallow grave. No coffin, no air, just dirt. Spider-Man wakes up underground, suffocating, clawing at soil in total darkness. For what feels like 2 weeks, Peter is alone with panic, rage, and the fear that this is how he dies. When Peter finally explodes out of the grave, he's not the friendly neighborhood anything. He tracks Kraven through pure instinct. No jokes, no mercy, no webs, just survival. Kraven welcomes him, hands him a rifle, tells him to finish it. Peter refuses. He won't kill him, but Kraven smiles anyway. and shoots himself. Spider-Man watches it happen, doesn't stop it. Kraven dies satisfied, convinced he proves Spider-Man is an animal underneath it all. Peter staggers home to Mary Jane, broken and traumatized. He survived the grave, but he tasted something dark down there, and Kraven's last hunt proves that even Spider-Man, pushed far enough, has to fight the monster inside just to stay a hero. Symbiote cruelty, when Spider-Man enjoys the fall. This isn't Spider-Man losing control, this is Spider-Man enjoying it. He dangles criminals off skyscrapers, mocks their screams, and smiles under the mask. When Spider-Man bonds with the black symbiote, it doesn't slowly corrupt him, it flips a switch. Before the suit, Peter pulls punches, webs crooks gently, talks about responsibility. After the suit, he stops caring how scared they are. He slams muggers through walls, leaves them hanging 50 stories above traffic, taunts them, has the view. Mary Jane notices immediately the strut, the arrogance, the snapping anger. This isn't a new personality, it's Peter without brakes. In the comics, Peter grabs criminals by the ankles and dangles them over pavement, letting them beg before yanking them back at the last second, laughing. In Spider-Man 3, the cruelty turns personal. Harry Osborn throws a pumpkin bomb at him in a rage-fueled fight. Peter catches it, freezes, and instead of dodging, he redirects it straight into Harry's face. The explosion scars him for life. No hesitation, no mercy. This isn't self-defense, it's payback. Peter isn't protecting anyone, he's punishing them. The symbiote didn't create this darkness, it revealed how much Peter enjoyed having power without consequences. Spider-Man's moral code is to suppress dark instincts, but with the symbiote, he embraced them. No Way Home, when Spider-Man breaks reality for himself. Spider-Man knowingly cracks the multiverse open, drags people from other realities into his own, just to fix his personal identity problem. After Mysterio exposes his identity, Spider-Man loses everything overnight: school, friends, privacy, safety. So Peter does something reckless. He goes to Doctor Strange and asks for the impossible: make everyone forget I'm Spider-Man. Strange starts the spell. Peter panics mid-cast and keeps changing the rules. The spell destabilizes, and instead of stopping it, Peter lets it break. The result? A multiversal breach. Green Goblin, Electro, and the Lizard get ripped out of their home realities, worlds where Peter knows they're destined to die. They didn't choose this. They weren't warned. New York becomes a battlefield because of Peter's decision. Goblin manipulates him, Electro drains the power grid, the Lizard mutates civilians, and Peter realizes something awful. All of this is his fault. Then Aunt May dies in his arms, not to fate, not to chance, to chaos Peter unleashed, trying to protect himself. Peter doubles down by forcing cures on villains who don't consent, rewriting who they are because he thinks it's right. In the end, Peter pays the price. Everyone forgot him. MJ, Ned, his entire life. No Way Home proves something brutal. Even Spider-Man will risk reality itself to escape pain. And responsibility doesn't always stop you from making the worst possible choice first. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the most powerful versions of Spider-Man next. We'll see you in the next one.